At 2 o'clock today, I did not know what I was going to do with this English project. So I threw this together pretty haphazardly, but I really liked the result. It shows a really great message about power, friendship, and most importantly of all, sandwiches. It was a nice day at the office, and 2 sandwiches sat there unclaimed. Along came Devil Ducky. Devil Ducky, aptly named, is from Human Resources. He makes people's lives miserable. Devil Ducky walked up to eat one of the sandwiches, when suddenly, Richard Nixon walked in. Devil Ducky, obviously scared, jumped back. Richard Nixon claimed that Devil Ducky was about to eat Richard Nixon's sandwich, which was the bigger one of the 2. Devil Ducky, however, asserted that this was not true, and that Richard Nixon, in fact, owned a smaller sandwich. However, the 2 sandwiches were both identical in content, so it could not be told which one was whose. Let's introduce the characters. Here we see Richard Nixon, former president and professional scumbag. He believes that the sandwich, hidden behind his giant head currently, is his. This is Devil Ducky, ruler of the Ducky underworld. He controls where bad ducks go. Before 2 titanic evil forces were able to fight each other, the Office Conflict Resolutor, the World War I Flying Ace, came in to save the day. The World War I Flying Ace, longtime enemy of the Red Baron, rode a Sopwith camel during World War I. He works at this office today. They all pondered and pondered what they should do. Then suddenly the World War I Flying Ace came up with an idea. Okay, we should cut the sandwich in half. Then you'll both be able to get part of it. I always carry a knife with me. Always, said Richard Nixon. But why should such a beautiful sandwich be cut in 2? Said Devil Ducky. That's just not right. Richard Nixon quickly and unnoticeably got rid of his knife. The World War I Flying Ace said, okay, my idea was stupid anyway. Let's ask the High Sandwich King. The High Sandwich King was truly an expert in his field. He had held the position of High Sandwich King for over 700 years. Many had tried to overthrow him, but none had been successful. He was truly the master of sandwiches. The 3 desperately approached the High Sandwich King. And then they asked him, High Sandwich King, how would we handle a sandwich-related dispute? The High Sandwich King responded, I do not answer questions about sandwiches to commoners. In order to get an answer from me, you need to bring me 3 cult classics. And then the High Sandwich King fell silent. The 3 friends all turned to one another. And then they said, we need to find 3 cult classics right away. And so they set off on an incredible journey. The 3 stood there, shocked at what the High Sandwich King had told them. So then, the World War I Flying Ace said, let's split up, gang. And they did. They searched high and low for 3 cult classics. Devil Ducky was the first to find his. He found Tenacious D and The Pick of Destiny. Richard Nixon was the second to find his cult classic. He found Katamari Damacy. The World War I Flying Ace was the last to find his. He found the movie Hot Fuzz. The 3 friends returned to the home of the High Sandwich King, who looked down and said, what rare offerings do you bring me? Which 3 cult classics have you brought? The High Sandwich King looked down at Katamari Damacy, Tenacious D and The Pick of Destiny, and Hot Fuzz, and then he boomed, you have only brought me 2 cult classics. Hot Fuzz was a genuinely popular movie. However, for your troubles, I will solve your problems anyway. Neither of you 2 deserve a sandwich, so I'm going to give it to Screamer. The 3 looked at each other in awe. They had wondered what had just happened. Had the High Sandwich King finally gotten mad with power? Had he abused his power just for his own benefit? Had he taken their sandwich just to feed his own powerful beast? Indeed, power had screwed them over, and they could do nothing about it. Donald Ducky, being from Human Resources, fired Richard Nixon immediately after all of this happened. He was then hated for the rest of his life and died alone. Richard Nixon found a new job, and he went on to rig the presidential election of the year 3000. The World War I flying ace joined the Air Force and was shot down over the Atlantic Ocean in the year 2010. The three cult classics all went into the High Sandwich King's collection. However, he never watched either movie, and he never played the game. High Sandwich King went on to serve as the High Sandwich King for 1,000 more years, at which point he was removed from his duties by Richard Nixon. And Screamer never did successfully complete its plans for world domination. The events that you have just witnessed are all, sadly, true. This has been a story about power. Power corrupts, but power is necessary. Richard Nixon and Devil Ducky, being the evil people that they are, would both have killed each other if the High Sandwich King was not in power. Can you imagine a world in which we don't have a High Sandwich King?